Ready, Jim?
Yeah, thank you.
There you go.
Who am I? Am I Philip Larkin? Am I T.S. Eliot? I do look like a bank manager, but I'm not, obviously. They are remembered in Poets' Corner. My goodness, my talent is interred with my bones, and my memory is almost blotted out for all time. And that slide is much longer than I thought it would be. However, anybody know who this man is? Just no? I will move on then. Okay, this man struck a pose between triumph and tragedy. But in the end, he settled for mediocrity. And he succeeded. Nietzsche said that man is a rope suspended over an abyss. And this was the title, Rope, of one of this unknown gentleman's plays. He liked whiskey. He consumed as much as 3 bottles of whiskey a day during the war. But it's nonsense, because the whiskey was black market, it was under the counter, it was watered down. But J.G. Ballard said that whiskey is the writer's friend. And this man would often go into public houses and he would be besieged by pleasure. That indeed was the title. That one went quicker. That was the title of one of his novels. I didn't know it was random. One of his novels. And he was obsessed by a beautiful whore whom he did not want for sex, but he sought in order to save her, redeem her, more full he. And he wrote many novels in which this character in real life, whom he loved from the generosity of his heart, appeared either as a buxom girl called Jenny or a cruel bitch called Netta. And from his penthouse apartment in Kensington, this gentleman would overlook the masses, the labour-supporting masses whom he dreaded going from the factory to the pubs. And he thought, scum. And later he would go down and join them, and he would observe low life in action. He was like his father, too, who was enamoured of a prostitute. Like the Wakefield-born writer George Gissing, enamoured of a prostitute. They sought to redeem this woman. And one of the pubs that this man went to was called the Midnight Bell, not the one in Leeds, but a fictitious watering hole, a pub theatre in London, where people would dream hopeless dreams. Ella the barmaid, Bob the barman, and many other assorted characters. And here we have Jenny. I see you've got a cold. Why don't you try a gin and pep? A gin and pep? What's that, love? Oh, it's something that gets you down and something that perks you back up again. Except in Jenny's case, it was a glass of port that led to her ruin. And this is the woman who in real life obsessed this man, Lizzie Connolly. She was illiterate. She couldn't even spell her name properly. Yet he loved her. He wanted to redeem her. He went all over London in pursuit of her. She was his Beatrice in the London underworld. And then tragedy, crash. Not J.G. Ballard this time, but on this occasion, a terrible accident in which the author, any clues, had to have a nose job. His face was practically ripped off. He was never the same, always self-conscious, very concerned about his appearance, and his writing career was put on hold. And from that time forth, he never sat in a motor car. He thought that motor cars, and this, we're talking about the 1940s here, would, like black beetles, they would congest the roads of England from then onwards. And how right he was. Not by colour, but by the simple quantity of cars. But here we have the depiction of a typical London pub, the haunt of this one-time well-known writer, where he would go and listen to gobbets of banal conversation, and he would listen and see the world through the distorted glass of whiskey or gin or any other beverage, and then he would have to be carried home. And his writing career was both buoyed up by his alcoholic consumption, but in the end it let him down as he continued to drink, and success became more and more remote. Now, was he a humorous man? Yes, he was. You may not think so, but he had the kind of humour that left you more depressed after you had heard him. And even though at the point you forgot all your responsibilities, happiness, by in his own words, was a kind of illusion in which you sought after something, and what the hell, that is the brief temporary moment of happiness. And this is a sort of banal epitaph on his life, whereby we think when we're intoxicated we can do anything we want, but then we realise what bloody idiots we are. And because he was a fool, idealism, thinking he can save a fallen woman, is the height of idiocy, or a fallen man for that, in that matter. There were some doubts about his sexuality, but we're pretty clear he was both pretty negligible on both counts, in point of fact, because he was interested in women from the point of view of their, I don't know, mother figures perhaps. And there he is, Patrick Hamilton. Has anybody heard of Patrick Hamilton? An author whom I like a lot. In some instances no longer as well read, but a good London novelist, a writer's writer, a writer who through his craft, through his hard work, was a help to other writers, certainly not a celebrity. And it just goes to show that you don't have to be a celebrity writer in order to be a failure. And yet he wasn't really a failure, it's just that he's not as well read now as he once was. But if you want to know more about Patrick Hamilton, I'll be able to tell you. Hangover Square, obviously one of his most famous novels, and the trilogy, 20,000 Streets Under the Sky. And there we are, there we have it. Thank you very much.